Yes, yes, yes. Welcome everyone to the second day and the first workshop of today. Today we'll be having Laura Marbelis from the Studio Y company. It's an innovation studio focused on design thinking, and she is going to give a great workshop on how to become a great storyteller. So, welcome everyone. Here is Laura Marbelis.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for introducing me, Nick. My name is Laurie, by the way, if you want to find me on LinkedIn. And I'm super excited.
I'm sorry, Laurie. English was a problem, I think.
No,
Laurie.
thank
Sorry.
you. Thank you. And I'm super excited to talk with you and to work today on storytelling and pitching. And before I start to give any information or introduce myself, I want to ask you something. Because to create value in this workshop, I really need you. I want to ask you and to challenge you to have an open mind during this workshop, to absorb every information you can get. And after this workshop, you can decide if this is an added value to the knowledge you already have, if you're gonna do nothing with it, or you're gonna truly live this information. But to create value now in this coming hour, I really ask you to be open-minded and pretend that everything you're gonna learn today is new information. So this is a workshop, not a sending information shop. So during this workshop, I will ask you a lot of stuff to do. And I'm also asking you to really do that, to really learn, and to ask every question you have in this groups app. What I said before, we're gonna create value together. I have something prepared, but most of us is it working together and asking questions, answering questions. So really, I really want that interaction between us so we can all learn from this experience. And before I'm gonna even tell you what I think storytelling is while pitching, I'm really curious about your point of view. I mean, have you seen a talk this event that you were really grabbed by, that really grabbed your attention, and you still know that? And maybe if this is your first workshop of your first talk during this event, uh, think about another speech or another talk or another conversation you had with someone, and really think what grabbed your attention, what made you still remember that topic only today, and it's long way back maybe. So really think about it. If I have to answer the question myself, I listened to a talk yesterday, and that was from Esther Jacobs. And she told a lot of stuff about her life, how she actually like fell down, everything was miserable, but in the end she made it possible. And the one story that still is in my mind was about her going to Brazil and learning the tango. And I could really imagine being a Dutch woman learning the tango. I mean, if I would do that, it would look ridiculous, I feel. But that didn't matter. At least that's what she told in her story. She just learned it. And by learning it for 3 weeks in a row, she was this much better than other people. And when she got back to the Netherlands, she started dancing, and a lot of people were looking at her. She was like, "What? What? I'm this Dutch tango dancer. I mean, I'm not dancing well. I mean, look at all the people from Brazil. They are so much better in what they do." But still, people were the attention was there. I mean, she was just this much better than. Than normal Dutch people, or people that didn't do the tango class. And in the end, she started to give lessons to other people, and I found that so funny, and so because I could really, like see her perspective. Because I think if I would get the tango lessons, I would also feel a bit, stiff and uncomfortable. But she did it anyways, and that story really grabbed me because I could really, emphasize with her feeling. And that's why I still remember it right now. And I also want to share that with you. So maybe you also have an example in your head right now. And it's very interesting, I think, why it is that you still remember that. And what I think, and that's what storytelling is most about, storytelling is the use of stories to achieve a goal. And stories, there are a lot of definitions about what is storytelling and what is the right story. But how I would, what my definition is like when there is an emotion involved. Because our brain works so well that facts are easy to remember, but emotions, that's what sticks. Think back to the story you just had in your mind, the story or the conversation or the talk that grabbed your attention. And think now, was there a story involved? Was there an emotion involved? Did I feel something when the other person was telling me this? And there is a big fact chance that that is exactly the point, because what I say, facts are hard to remember, but emotions really stick to our memory. And you always do that with storytelling to achieve a goal. And a goal can be anything. It can be to inform someone, it can be to enthuse someone, it can be to just tell someone, it can be everything. And today we're gonna actually do that. And the funniest thing about storytelling is that we actually do that already a lot of times. I mean, if we would sit in a bar with a friend, you're just talking about stories all the time, right? I mean, last week I had this conversation with a friend I didn't see for a long time because of social distance and quarantine. And we sat together and we were talking every story, everything we had experienced during this time. It would have been weird, right, if I would say like, "Hello, nice to see you. I've been in quarantine for 65 days. I had 12 lunch breaks with my housemates, and I ate salmon twice." I mean, that would have been awkward, right? You're telling about the stories, about the things you've experienced. But if we compare that private life, that chill time with friends or family or whatever, if we compare that to professional life, then the stories are not that that much there, right? I mean, if you're in a meeting, I've worked at a local supermarket and we had meetings sometimes. It was only about numbers, facts. And most of the time it was so boring that not even the next day, not even an hour, but more like during the meeting, it was absolutely, it didn't stick to my head. And that's what fascinates me. Like, why are we using stories in private life but not so much in professional life? And that's what I would like to change together with you, to create some stories that can be put in professional life. So we can bubble up the professional life with more stories, and not only to make it more fun, but also to make it more functional. Because again, facts is hard to remember, but emotions, that is what sticks. That is what makes us remember. And I created a model to really present something with impact, because it's not only about storytelling, there's more to that. And it's also about the impact, right? I mean, you can present anything. You only need words. But to really get this impact, that's why I created this model. And that is also what I want to share with you. So just take notes, take pictures, whatever you like. It's out in the open now. So we're gonna make a pyramid, and the lowest bar means that that's the start of your presentation, talk, conversation, whatever it is. And the first thing is authenticity. What makes you unique as a person? What makes you unique? I mean, I know for myself that sometimes I can be enthusiastic and super energetic, and that's also a very good thing to use in a presentation. Once I had this project group and we had to pitch several times about our work. And the first phase, we didn't know that much yet, but it was more about to enthusiast people about what we're doing. I did that pitch and it was great. The audience felt it, it was awesome. And at the end of the project, it was more about um, specific things that need to be told. And it was also a very gentle subject and it was emotional. And we had this person in our project group, and if you would look at her, you would feel calm. And you would just be sucked into her and just like so much attention there. And then she did our pitch and she nailed it too. You know, we are just completely different, but you can also use that uniqueness, your authenticity, to create more value to the goal you want to achieve. So authenticity, in my opinion, is the most important thing to start with. What makes you unique and how can you use that? The second thing that you can use is making a connection. You are asking time from people if you talk to them. Time, they don't give it to you. You have to earn it. So first of all, before you start, try to really make a connection with the audience. Suck them into your presentation, to your story, make it personal. Because without a connection, they won't listen, and their time is given. You have to earn it. And the third one, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is the storytelling. Using a story instead of only specific words and facts to make your point. And again, it's where the emotion is part of the whole journey. And last but not least, you also need some content, right? Because where are you going to talk about? So in the end, you're focusing on the content. And of course, the content is what you're talking about, but it's more the way of working towards it that makes this impact pyramid valuable. I mean, think about you as a person. What makes you unique? Make a connection to the audience. Use some storytelling into your content, and then you will be that person who makes some impact. And that's what we all want, right? I mean, we want to make impact. And what I said, I'm telling you a lot of stuff now, but it's also going to be a workshop, not a information telling shop. So that's what we're going to do now, because we are learning by doing. And what I want you to do is make your own story. And what I told you, this presentation or this workshop is specifically to create more stories in the work environment. And for example, if I would introduce myself to a new team, I can do it in two specific ways, right? I can do it all factually, or I can use stories. So as an example, as what you're gonna do later on, like in a few minutes, your own personal story, how you can introduce yourself in your work environment. And to make it more clear what I mean with that, I'm gonna give you two examples. First, the factual, and second of all, the one with the story. So if I want to introduce myself in a new team, I can see, well, hello guys, I'm Laurie Mabelis, and I'm very good at overseeing the process. I mean, I keep track of planning, I see structure, and I don't see loose information, but I see the context, you know? I don't see the loose content, I see the whole context. Often I summarize to create clarity for people, and others would describe me as a team player. I am positive and I am structured. Well, although I say it with enthusiasm, it's boring, right? I mean, I'm just spreading these facts. It doesn't mean anything. What means structured? What is that? It doesn't like go into your imagination, and that's what you want, because if people making their own connections in their head, that's what sticks. That's the memory we want to get. So if I would introduce myself again, I can also do it like this, for example. Like, Hey, you guys, I'm Laurie, and last year, together with my former colleagues Bas and Merel, we did this innovation project together, and it was for a province in Groningen. That's in Holland, in the north, and we are from the back south, you know. So in order to start with that innovative project, we had to make a starting point. We call that make formulating challenges. And to do that, we had to sit down with our clients and do that together. So on this Wednesday morning, together with the three of us, we sat in the car with some loud music and traveled 2.5 hours up north to see our clients. And they were already waiting for us, and together we walked in the building and we sat down in this super small room without a lot of windows. And it was a warm day, not a lot of windows, so it was tough to sit there for an hour to make those challenges. And our clients already had a lot of meetings to discuss, and they were, proud of the content they created. And when they were telling what they thought the challenges should be like, it was extremely vague. And when they said it out loud, they also saw that. So they discussed during the meeting for an hour when we sat there, they discussed a lot of information. And also my two colleagues were talking to them, and I was just listening. I was just like, what is going on here? I was sat back and I was like, just listen to this. And after 45 minutes or so, everybody was tired. They were talking all the time, not getting any further. And they were just super disappointed because there was only 15 minutes left and we needed those challenges to start on the project. And that was the point that I stepped in, because I was listening the whole time. And on some point, when everybody was tired, I saw the structure. I grabbed a marker from the table and I draw lines on the board with the structure. And I said, guys, I've been listening the whole time, and I really think these are the challenges. These are the main points. And they looked at me and they said, wow, that's exactly what they meant. What we meant. And on that moment, I realized that when some people don't see any structure and they only see loose information, I can help them to see that structure and to feel the control over the process. And that's what I think I can be of value to your team. I mean, if everybody doesn't see any solutions, I like to stay positive and still keep on track of the process. And therefore I'm structured, and I like to work with other people, but because together we make an impact. Well, if you compare those two stories, what I say is exactly the same. The point I want to make is exactly the same, but the way how I tell it is totally different. And I bet that if I would tell the first story, I would be forgotten within a minute. And the second story would at least hang on there a bit longer, maybe a day, maybe a week. Doesn't really matter, because you just have to tell stories all the time. And by doing that, people will remember. So what I would ask you to do now is create your own story, that how you can introduce yourself in a work environment. And by work environment, I mean work, that can be school, that can be any professional environment you're in, or any environment you want to make a story for. It's what I said before, we can create value together. I think it's nice if you think of a story in a work environment, but choose whatever suits you best, so you can actually use the story in that context. So I'm gonna put some music on now. I want to ask you to grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and start creating your own story. And some of you may do that. Some of you may have some questions, and I'm really happy to answer all the questions. So put all the questions in the chat, so I can talk to you for more. Otherwise, I will just sit here, put on some music, and be ready for you if you want to present your story, because that's what it's all for, right? I mean, this is a workshop again. This is your opportunity to really practice, be on stage, get feedback from the people that are watching, maybe even for me, and then together we will make this hour a valuable hour. So I'm going to close the presentation now, so I can also see what's going on there. And I would say, let's get started, guys. Put on some music. If you don't like the music, you can also put it on mute. But let's make sure we're doing it, and just start creating your own story, because in the end, that's what we want, right? We want to make impact by using stories. And maybe it's better, this is my own taste of music, but maybe you can put your own music on to make it really special for yourself, and create a nice atmosphere to work. And that's personal for everybody. So I will be sitting here, and I would like to answer all the questions you have. So if you have any questions, just put it in the chat, and I will be happy to answer them all. Just, this is your opportunity. This is the chance to discuss maybe your opinion about pitching and storytelling. And I really like that you are offering yourself the time to listen to this and to learn, and to create value for yourself and for others. Because in the end, you are doing something from yourself, but actually you're not never do it for yourself, really, because you're creating value for others, right? And that's what we're here for today. So it's really cool that I see you here, and that a lot of people are watching. And I'm also super curious about what you will come up with and the stories you're gonna create. And as it said in the chat, feel free to ask any questions. And if you want to be in the studio, you can just mail us to that address that's there. And you will receive a link, and then you will be here on the screen. I can imagine that sounds terrifying. And to be honest, I was also quite nervous today, even like 15 minutes before this presentation, the Wi-Fi shut off. So I'm super happy that that was fixed before. But I see it as an opportunity to learn, and I hope you do that too. So it will be super awesome if I would see more people on the screen, and that you grab this opportunity, and you will give this presentation to us. You will share your stories to practice, because that's what it's all about. I mean, sometimes it's hard to use stories if you're not used to it, but practicing really helps you learn. So it's more about doing it than actually nailing it. So just do it, come on stage, type some questions in the comments, and we will put the question up in the screen, so I will see it, and then I can answer that question. Because again, it's not a sending information shop. It's a workshop where we're actually gonna work together. So just put some questions in the comments, and I will help you, or we will help you. Also, the people that are watching as well. So it would be super nice if we have some questions, and we can make this interactive. So I hope you got yourself some nice music. You're writing the stories that are in your head. And if you have any questions, just put it in the bar I'm just going to the comments here to see if there are already some questions. I see that some people are visiting. That's super nice.
Yes, feel free to ask any questions, and maybe we can practice here, Laurie. Maybe you can help me with my story.
Oh, that would be super nice.
Yeah.
Have you thought of anything you want to share to make that professional life more bubbly and energetic?
Yeah, so I'm busy with VR, and I'm really enthusiastic about getting VR into education. But I really need some help with that because the teachers they have a mindset to new technology, and I don't know how to pursue them to understand that it's a really easy way to get started. And then if they get started, they see, oh wow, there's potential. So the first stepping stone, like how to pitch that people are getting into the VR world with me.
That's a big question, Nick, with a really nice vision and mission. Have you already tried that before, and what have you done so far on telling those people?
Yeah, so what we did is I presented on a stage at Pakkers de Zwijger, and I shared some like a demo, some demo videos, but also a real live like a live demo on how to walk in VR and how to see a screen like a presentation screen like this and how that looks like. And I had a lot of enthusiasm by a lot of people, but I think they're still scared. They're still scared to join me. So I only do one-on-one trainings now to get people on VR. But most of them they are already like they like technology, and then they are doing trainings or courses. They are instructors or freelancers. But teachers, it's very hard. And I think if you have one teacher that is enthusiastic about it, they will spread the word in their school, and then it follows to other schools. So I think if we have a good story, we have a way to convey teachers. I would be very happy to help education forward in this sense. I think it's a powerful tool for training purposes. Like you can simulate a training exercise in VR, and people, yeah, whether they are sick or not, they can feel that they are there together. So it's a feeling that you really miss not right now when we have to stay at home. And that I think it's a very essential thing for human connection to feel that you're close together, that you're uh, hearing each other from a close distance and hearing others from a far distance. And that's all possible in VR. But yeah, first we have to get people in it.
Yes, good, go on. And the one that strikes me of interesting, interests me, what you're saying, like they're scared. And what I would like to know is like, why are they scared? Because if you know why they are scared, you can use that in a story with an example of a person that exactly like that or was exactly like that, was also scared because of the same reason, but turn it around, and then there's an argument why you turn around, and then you can use that in a story.
Yeah. So the question why you're scared, I have to find out. So I have to get to them, and then it's not just scared. It's also time. That's sometimes a hurdle. Like they don't have time to learn new things next to the workload that they already have. And then like VR is such a big step in their minds that
Yeah.
it's like that's thinking of me like, okay, the overall problem is scared. The next thing is time, and the
Mhm.
next thing is maybe tools. They don't know if they are able to spend some money on a headset. Like one teacher being able to train a whole classroom. Um, they think of like, oh, everyone needs a headset, but VR is now accessible on a computer as well. So everyone can join, but it's the coolest in VR with the headset. So
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
that's
So you want them to step out of their comfort zone to go where you think that is, as a professional, you know that's the best way to do it. Exactly.
yeah, it feels like really presenting on a stage. It's you're standing, you can walk on the virtual reality stage, and you can give a presentation, an instruction class. The students they can take a seat, they can walk around, uh, they can shake hands. Like all of these things are possible, and it's free to use. So only one, well, I think it's great to have is a teacher with a headset, and that's yeah. With the demos where we do it without headset, and we do it with headset, and then they are like, wow, that headset is really cool, and the other things like, um, yeah, it's 2D. Yeah? If you use a screen, it's 2D, so it's less immersive. The immersiveness is the power of VR. So then, if they have tried the headset on, but it's very hard to demo it now with the people at home because we cannot go there, and we cannot give them a headset on. They have to see me walking around and shaking behind Zoom, like using Zoom to showcase that. So it's hard to give them that same emotion when they just see a 2D screen.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. So first you want to take away their scaredness or their frictions, time, blah blah blah, everything they're walking through a wall for their feeling.
Mhm. Yeah.
As a first step, I would like to explore what they mean by that. So why are they scared? What are the frictions they have? What do they need? And then I would like to maybe you even have that already, like a person that's almost like them, but is open to all their stuff and is super ready to embrace all the new technology and even already uses that one. And if you want to enthusiast other people, you can also put that person in a spot and he can make the presentation, because again it is about making connection. And if you as a professional, like on the like a gorilla, I would say, like as a you're the one who knows it all and wants to give them the information, but they are scared and they don't know what is possible, and they see all these bears on the road. And but if someone it's just like them is saying this information, there you're more equal. And then maybe they're better to make that connection because they really feel connected to them. And that's super important, because it's about presentation, but it's also about, I sometimes say, I want, like, turn a presentation into a conversation, right? You don't want to be that sender, but you want to have a deep, meaningful connection with your audience in which you understand each other.
Yeah, so it's I try to wrap it up underneath. Is that correct? Like this, I need a key influencer that is the target audience. So the teacher, for example, a teacher that is using VR,
Yeah, for example.
that can talk in a conversation with other teachers because he is in the same situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that's
I have to prepare one use case with a teacher. Offer it all for free. Make sure that this person is like super enthusiastic, and
exactly.
then ask him or her to be on stage for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's great.
If you would put that case on the pitch impact form, like the pyramid, then you would see the authenticity is also you, because you are the one that really knows the shit, and the combination of you and the teacher is brilliant, because the teacher can make that connection better than you, maybe because you're on the rock, but what it's about. So that's your authenticity, your uniqueness that you're bringing to the group of people. And if you have a story to tell, like both you and the teacher combine it into one story, and then the contact will just be super easy because you both know what it is about. So that's why, like, the steps are super important to follow, and also important not to forget, and not only focusing on your goal, like giving the contact, inform them about the information, but it's really about
you said a pyramid, something like a pyramid. Is it something you can share with us?
Yeah, of course.
Like maybe you have a Drive link or a Dropbox link that we can share in the chat, so we can work on this, because I've never heard of this pyramid, so I'm really enthusiastic on working it out now.
Yeah, that's exactly why I don't share it. I really want yourself to put that step and really draw it in your own words. Let me see. I can put it on the screen again.
Yeah.
so people can see it. And I think that's the most important, right? Because that's also what I said before. It's not about me sharing the all the information, and you just write it down, but it's also about really practicing, because information is just information. But if you really practice it and make it your own, then it becomes value. So I can go to this pyramid again. I called it the presenting impact pyramid, in
Great.
which the order or the importance, in my opinion, of the steps of presenting or making an impact are in the right order. So first of all, it's all about authenticity. What makes you unique as a person? So, for example, Nick is very enthusiastic about getting new technologies into the education system,
Mhm.
because the education system is very
Outdated.
outdated. Thank you. And you, Nick, you believe that putting new technology works for to upgrade it. So
Yeah.
your authenticity, your enthusiasm, your knowledge is really important as a first step. I mean, if I would do the same presentation, I told you before, my internet fell off
Mhm.
15 minutes before this. I was a bit of a panic attack, and I have absolutely no knowledge at all about techniques or whatever.
Yeah.
So if I would do the same presentation, it would not make the impact as Nick would have done it. So authenticity is the first step of the impact pyramid. The second one is making a connection. So in this example, Nick, you wanted to make a connection with the teachers, but you really are far away from the teachers, right? Because you're the expert, and
Mhm.
maybe they don't feel like, yeah, but we don't have the time. I mean, you have all the time to focus on technology, but we also have to prepare a lot of stuff, teach a lot of things. We don't have a lot of time, and it's also a bit scared, like what you said is outdated, but that's our structure for a long, long time. So if you're saying we have to change that completely, I feel vulnerable. I don't know if I can do it. It's scared. It scares me. So if another teacher is standing there who's already using that technology and is really proud of it and shares it with you, then he can make a better connection, because he knows what they're going through, and they know that he knows what they feel. So that's super important, to make that connection, to really make an impact by the things you're going to say. And third of all, and that's the point of today, is telling it in a story. Because Nick, you can throw facts at people, right? I mean, I know you know a lot about all this technical stuff, but if you would tell me, I would have no clue what you're talking about, because I know nothing. So if you tell like everything, it will just go boop. Won't remember it at all. So if you would tell it in a story and really make the connection with also me, like the person who doesn't know anything about technology, or not nothing, but not that much, then you would catch my attention, you would grab my attention, and that's what you want, because you want to make an impact. And
Yeah.
last but not least, is about the content. Is what is it you want to say? Like, what is the goal you want to achieve, and using all those things below to get to that information. So this is the presenting impact pyramid. And again, what you said, Nick, just make a picture of it, draw your own pyramid, make your own notes, because it's not about this designed pyramid. It's not about the design. It's about the content. It's about how you are gonna use it. So just
Mhm.
make your own pyramid and really uh, start applying these things.
Yeah.
Because
So I made my pyramid now. So I'm going to share it.
I'm gonna stop sharing. Yep.
Let me see. It's not as beautiful and not finished yet. So here's like my authenticity and my target audience feelings, like feeling vulnerable, leaving behind their way of working, like
Yeah.
this.
Perfect. Yeah.
I want education to leverage new technologies for their benefit.
Let me see. Can you say that again?
I want education to leverage new technologies for their benefit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Perfect.
And then the story needs to be on top here. So I just put it over here,
Ah, perfect.
making connections. Okay, one more layer.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what you're doing, Nick, is exactly what I meant. I mean, you can have this nice design thing, but these are your own words, and that's so much better than the words that I use, because that's what I like to remember. But I mean, you're already applying it on your own case, and that's what makes it a value, right?
Yeah. So that's like make a connection. I have to give them a good feeling. So how can I? Okay. How can I make them feel good about using new technologies? Like this question, I have to answer.
Yeah, for example.
And here is my offering, right? My offering.
Yeah.
Um,
And then in the middle, you have your story.
oh yeah, I missed the extra layer: storytelling and the content. Okay, the storytelling. There we go. Quickly make this one in Miro, handy, useful tool.
Yeah, super useful. We use it all the time.
Yeah. Okay, the storytelling. So can you help me a little bit on that? So
Yeah,
I have to use this as a starting point.
yeah.
Once upon a time, maybe.
Do you already have a teacher that embraces
Yeah,
your technology?
yeah. Ewout Warringa. He's a really good friend now. He is a teacher on secondary schools, and he is using HoloLenses every day, like the most expensive technology that you can use. But he has just sent 27 different schools who are going to start now. So he has done an amazing job on convincing teachers on using AR in the classroom, which is
Okay.
very similar. So we are on the same line, and we are trying out new tools together all the time.
All right, that's super cool. And if for example you're not with Ewout on a pitch, but because you know maybe he cannot always come to help you, you
Yeah.
can always also tell his story, right? That you've met Ewout. I don't know if he was not completely overwhelmed, and he was also a bit scared. I don't know if that's the case. But if that is the case, then you can really connect to the audience by using his story, because he once was like you,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
at some point he flipped. And what was that point? What did he do? What did him make him open to all those new technologies?
Hmm. I think he had a hard time as well getting it into the hands of other colleagues, getting it into the hands of other colleagues. Um, and then he was asked by conferences, like I organized one Future Flux Festival last year, and he got a stage to present what he is doing with new technology in education. And then I think the colleagues were like, "Whoa! So our teacher over here is actually an influencer in education, like is actually a hero for
Mhm.
education, but we don't understand this guy."
So that's what Ewout did. Do I understand that
Yeah,
correctly?
yeah. Ewout is asked a lot of times now to present about how he's applying AR in education.
Yeah, but I want to go a step like back now, because we're going fast to the solution part. But I would like to emphasize the part where he was scared and what flipped it. Like, what was the moment that he was not scared anymore, but he was really open to it? What changed his mind? When um, when was he open to explore?
I think he received the space from his school to explore how to use these new technologies. I think that was the time when he thought like, okay, I have gotten some budget, I've gotten some time, and I'm going to try out something.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he chose for the HoloLens. He started with something. He had two different classes: healthcare and like real estate development, so bouwkunde.
Hmm.
and he has these two student classes, like in primary or in secondary school. It's like a tutorial on how this world looks like, right? So he is showcasing with the HoloLens now how you can create 3D models of houses before delivering 2D printed out papers to the workers at at the real estate development building complex.
Yeah.
He's flipped that way of working. First, people draw in 2D, and then if they have the money and the budget, they make it in 3D. And now his students are doing it 3D first, and then are going to tell the story as students to the workers at the work floor.
Ah, that's super cool.
I think the students are also involved in making this big. I think the students are the ones that are so happy that that's like his use case to um, to just tell that like how much the students are able to do in their secondary school time, like how much hard skills they are developing when they get these kind of tools provided.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
this process is super interesting, I think, because again, if you would like talk to the teachers and find out why they're scared, like their frictions and their needs, maybe the biggest need they have is making the best education for their students, and
Mhm.
they don't know about the possibilities that technology can deliver. So if you know that, and then you can really pinpoint it on their need, so you can really make it personal to them. And what I often say is, if you give a presentation, for example, if you would pitch this idea, Nick, to a conference full of teachers, and you would have 2 minutes, then
Yeah,
I would advise you to put the first minute on the frictions and the needs to make that connection, and only 1 minute to your solution. Although that feels sometimes a bit weird, because it is about your solution, right? But then the
mm,
connection is not built. So if they really, like, in your introduction, you're focusing on their pains and their needs, and they're really feeling that, like, yeah, that's exactly what we feel like, and then you come up with a solution, then that solution really fits to what they want. But if you just put the solution out there, they cannot make it their own, and that's what you want.
mm. So it's like my first TED talk. It's like um, letting people feel the same pain or like feel that they are in your shoes.
Yeah, that's what it is all about. That's what makes the connection.
Yeah. Is it good to start with? Can you imagine
Of course it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
having less workload and happier students?
Yeah, yeah. And the nicest way to really use storytelling in the best way possible is making it very specific. It The more specific, the more people can really connect to it. So for example, if you're saying, can you imagine having less workload, less wasting on checking exams, presentations, and have happier students? That's exactly what Ewout thought.
Hmm.
Ewout is this teacher, and he was doing these lessons, and this is how he lived, and this is the thoughts he had, and that can really connect to the audience because they're exactly the same as Ewout. And if you would describe how Ewout was before he flipped his mind or changed his mind about the technologies, they can really connect with that perspective because that's exactly what they are right now.
So I think it's more precise now. So can you imagine having less workload, less time wasting on checking exams, preparing presentations, have students listening to you and learn more skills faster?
Yeah, awesome.
It's shown in research in stats that you can learn 230% faster using VR. So students can learn faster, and there's more time for other stuff then.
Yeah, and maybe you can even make a story about that, Nick, because that fact is
It's a strong.
super nice, right? A super strong fact. And can you add a story to that? in which that is shown. Like, for example, a nephew of you, or a kid's, a neighbor's kid, or maybe a family member that really changed the student's life, because that fact is really inspiring, but it doesn't really go into our imagination. So to combine the fact with the story, that's the golden rule.
So Peter, for example.
Yeah, for example, yeah.
And Peter, you have to describe Peter like 14 years old, uh, likes to play instruments, likes to play instruments like the piano, lives in a small village, or whatever, my hometown.
Yeah, for example. And if it's also nice if you know the person, because then it really is a story from you, and it's not about, like, special or like specifically that you need to know that he plays the piano, but it's more like to that you as a listener can really see where he lives. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so Peter is this enthusiastic kid that has a hard time concentrating, but when he hears PR, he was so sunk into this new world that he was studying all the time, for example.
Mm-hmm. Felt misunderstood, maybe.
For example, yeah.
Teachers didn't feel didn't like the self-esteem, didn't feel respected in school. Was a smart kid, but no one really cared. Like these kind of specific things for Peter, and then they can really think of their student, maybe one or two in their
Exactly.
classroom, who has the same situation.
Yeah, maybe you can even ask, so do you have a kid like Peter in your class?
I've
Then
yeah,
it
yeah,
becomes personal.
yeah. So I've asked the question to them: do you have a kid like Peter in your class?
Yeah, for example.
Or there was a question to me.
And then also Peter starts to live, right? Do you have also a kid like Peter? And
Mm-hmm.
then Peter is alive, you know?
Yeah. So you have questions and you have um, storylines. So can you imagine it's like a question as well? This is like an explanation. Is there like there are puzzle pieces here?
Yeah, you can see it in that way, yeah. There are different ways
Pain.
to frame something and put it in a story together.
Yeah. So this is a pain. This is a fact. These are questions. So people are sucked into it. Like okay, they have to think. And this also.
Maybe you all also want to emphasize in that first minute, in the example of the 2-minute pitch, the need.
So we have 4 minutes left. So I have to do it here, right? I have 4 minutes left. I have 3 minute pitch, and I have to do it now.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. Are you
So
ready?
2 minutes in the pain, 1 minute in the solution. All right. All right. Okay. I will use this check sheet to help me out a bit. But there I go. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if that helps me. Yeah. Once upon a time, Peter, 40-year-old kid in the secondary school of Ude, he was so scared to go to school. He was so bored to go to school because he was not respected by his fellow students. And he was misunderstood by his teacher. Peter is just one kid that is not feeling happy with his today's way of teaching. Peter is a smart kid. He can learn very quickly, but he cannot really learn from books. He is getting bored very fast. He's a guy that likes to be on a computer. He plays a lot of games. He actually develops games and all that. I don't understand anything all that. But I want Peter to have a great experience on his time on our school. I'm a teacher on this school, and this is actually a student from my classroom. And I really wanted to help Peter. And I discovered that there are some revolutionary research saying like VR is a way to help people train their skills much faster. And I thought, well, VR is technology, and Peter really likes technology. So I actually gave it a shot. I bought this like headset, and it's called Oculus Quest, and that thing I gave it to Peter and to try it out a day, and he had so much ideas when he heard it for the first time on how to use this for his classes. I didn't have to come up with any ideas for him. He came up with the ideas himself, and sooner or later we started developing our own course together with Peter. And he was like the happiest kid. He was super enthusiastic to work with me. And I didn't really have any extra workload. He was like sending me a lot of files, like saying, "Oh, I think this should be in a course, and we can replace this in the book with this in VR." And I said, "Well, yeah, I don't have the time. Can you create it?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah, let me try, let me try. Can I create it?" And so I gave him the space next to the time that he had to invest in his curriculum to work out this idea. And within a month, he came up with an application. Like he actually came up with a whole lesson plan for me that I could use for Peter, but also my colleagues had a lot of students like this in his classroom. And now we have a instruction manual and a headset that I didn't have any time to work on, but it's working. Peter is having a great time in school. He's respected by his fellow students, and he's feeling so happy. He's feeling useful in today's classroom. And now he's like the instructor. I don't have to be there anymore. And my colleagues, I just refer them to Peter, and Peter is happy to explain them in a very easy way on how to use these new tools. So, do you have any students in your classroom that have the same situation, that do not feel really good on school anymore, and that are in technology or that are similar like Peter? I think we have a solution here. So I really want to share this instruction manual, and I want to give you a demo in how we have used this, and we are using this every day now. So if you're willing, I would love to make an appointment and have a coffee with any other teachers that want to try it out. Let's give it a go. Thank you all.
Woo!
Yeah.
Nice. So, how would you feel to try stuff like this out on stage?
Oh, I would be. It was scary, but I did it, and now I feel so much adrenaline. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy that I did.
Oh, super good.
A lot of time to prepare, but how did you like it? Do you have any tips, or is it already a good pitch?
Yeah, I think it's like a lot better than only talking from facts and facts. What I did feel is that you are the teacher in this story, which you are not.
Yeah, I need anyone.
It's also important that what you're telling is the truth, because if you're telling a story, then it maybe is more like a fairy tale, and it doesn't really make the connection because they see it's not true.
Come on, I really want that VOG and all that.
Exactly.
For that reason, that they respect me, that I am seen as a teacher, because I want to give guest lectures more and more, and I want to.
If you are, then of course it's fine. But I mean, you should be able to have the Peter in your class. Otherwise, don't use it as a thing.
Yeah.
I think you're feeling the use of stories. So I don't think it doesn't matter like if the content of this one was perfect, but you're getting the feel of the using the stories, and that's awesome. So great job.
Yeah, thank you. Cool. Yeah, I had to make it like this so people could see me better, I think.
Yeah.
It worked out. You saw me standing over there. I think standing is so much fun and greater for speaking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. So some final words. Do you have a final tip for the audience? And then we have to wrap it up for our next
tip
one.
is exactly what you did. Just try it out. And people don't really have to know if you're scared. Just put in a nice story in the conversation you have with a friend or a colleague. Just put it out there and try to use the stories and practice a lot of times, and then just just do it.
Are you okay with like my print screen of that pyramid that I
Absolutely.
shared in the comments?
Absolutely.
Okay, I we call it the pitching pyramid,
The presenting impact pyramid.
presenting impact pyramid. So the link you see in the chat is the presenting impact pyramid. Give it a try yourself. Give it a try yourself, and I hope you get your story out as I just tried to your audience, and that they are really getting into it, and that you don't have to pitch hundreds of times and then feeling so depressed that no one really cared. Yeah, I think this is really helpful, Laurie. So thank you for helping me, and of course the listeners, and they can watch it back at any time. So feel free to watch back this video workshop from Laurie. And yeah, I think we are done, right?
Absolutely. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to this and doing it yourself. So great job. And feel free to contact me, ask me anything. Look me up on LinkedIn, Laurie Malbelis from Studio Y, and then would like to stay in contact. So have fun during the next of these events.
But don't forget, you are doing something in the afternoon as well. Don't forget to shout out to that.
Oh, shout out that. Yes, on 1 o'clock you can see me again. And then I will implement the things that I told you to my own talk. And I'll get you challenged to dare to do your dreams. So if you would like to hear it, you're absolutely invited. So I would like to see you again then. And yeah. So see you then. Just nice.
The teacher on stage as well. Huh?
Yes.
I'll put that here in the live chat comment. Feel free to come back at 1 o'clock. I will share that link as well. Let me get that link for them so they can find you at 1 o'clock. Let's see.
Awesome.
Yeah. So anything that you want to share before I find that link?
No, the only thing is just do it, and I would absolutely love to help you out. So I would like to invite you to find my LinkedIn. You can also find it on this website, but you can also find it on LinkedIn page itself. And I would love to connect with you and help you out with your story. If you want to share it later, if you want to ask any feedback, have any other questions, just feel free to ask me. And I would absolutely love to see you again. When I share the talk. That talk is never shared before, so it's really preview for you guys. So it's really nice if you would be there.
Yeah, so I shared the link. I found it, and also the YouTube link if you want. So you can find it in the chat. Click on it, put it a reminder so you get an email that it's coming. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to hear your story, Laurie. So I'm going to be there as your host. Backstage or on stage, whatever you like, and I'm looking forward to it. So everyone have a wonderful sessions today, have a wonderful day, and here we go with our outro shots from
bye.
Bye bye. If you want to know who these footage are coming from, check out Shaggy FPV on YouTube. He's a drone filmer, so these shots are all made by a drone racer, one of the best in the Netherlands. So check out Dutch Drone Gods if you want to know where these epic shots are coming from. And we'll see you guys all in the next session. Bye-bye.
Bye.